All right, 8th grade. Today, what you're going to do is once you get your folder, you are going to mark it off so that it is a 1-inch by 1-inch grid. All right. And remember, when you do this, it doesn't matter which way you go, if you're going landscape or portrait, but I would make sure that your zero line is on the very edge. You want to make your marks not only at the top of the page, so every inch. You also want to make them at the bottom of the page as well. All right. That way, once you've got all those marked, it is a lot easier to keep a nice straight line if you connect the top to the bottom. All right. So you'll do that on the sides as well. Zero line on the end. Mark your 1, 2, 3 all the way to 11. And then once you have those marks, slide it down. Make marks on both sides. It is so much easier to keep a nice straight line when you have marks at either end. All right? So when that's done, most of you have that part done. Make sure you put your name on the back as well. Doesn't hurt to put your first hour teacher's name on there. Then in the room, there should be a copy of your picture. If you do not have one of these, then we'll have something else for you to work on. But all of those who made one and saved it, for the most part, I have those. And you're going to do the same thing on here. Now this paper is a little bit smaller, so instead of 9 squares going across what you have here, you are going to still line it up with your zero line, make your marks all the way over. It's going to go to 8 because the paper is 8.5. Not a big deal because most of our design, we don't have a whole lot going on the ends. Make your lines at the top and the bottom just like you did for the board. All right, connect those. Do the same with the sides. Get that zero line on the end. These will be even. That'll go all the way to 10 and then all the way down. All right, so now you have both of those gridded off the best you can. All right. And what we want to do is we're going to use this grid. Remember, this should be pretty light when you're going in here because we want to erase those. But what you want to do from there is we are going to start to get a line drawing on our grid here. So the picture now has boxes in it as well. So the number 1 box, we are not worried about this border that we made from our picture. We don't have to put that part in, but we're going to work box to box. So number 1 box doesn't have anything. The number 2 box has a little bit. Now, even though this stops, we can improvise this a little bit. And I'm just going to work my way either down or over. So if I'm in the 2nd box here, I know this one comes off of the corner. I'm going to draw just whatever is in this box, and it is just going to be a line. And if it stops there, I'm just going to continue it off the page from there. Now you should do this fairly light so that it's easy to erase. I'm just going to work my way down. So I'm in this column here, and I see that this line for his hair rides all along the edge of our first line, give or take. So there's box 3. I'm in box 3. Box 4 starts to get a little bit more not as fuzzy, and we got a little bit of his ear in here. So I'm working my way down. I can also work my way over if I want to get my line drawing in. And I'm just looking at what I see in the boxes. If I want to stay here and go down, that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th box. So that's this box here. I'm going to start working on just the outer part. All right, you're going to do the same with the shapes. So if this World Cup is coming in here, man, it rides along the edge of this line, and it takes out a little bit of the corner of this 2nd box and comes down, and it's going to come in to this space in here. So I'm going to start getting those lines of all the little details. I don't really want to do any shading just yet, but you can kind of work anywhere you want. If I wanted to come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and start working on his nose, I could do that as well. That's in this area here. I just have to look at where my lines are on this page and start to draw those lines in their correct area. All right, so that's coming in through here. All of that good stuff. He's got this line that rides off of here, and it will come into this area. So I'm looking for all those details. Again, I'm not worried about the shading too much. I just want to get in all of my line spacing. So if you get all that done and you get all those details, so your pictures too, not just the face, but those pictures that you've added in there, make sure they're in the correct area. Don't worry about if you have some spaces that might be left open because the paper is a little bit bigger. All right, talking and trying to see what I'm doing here. So if there's a shadow, I'm just going to put a light line where that shadow kind of works from. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the 4th box. I can start working on his eyes in here. And I'm just going to start getting all those little bitty lines and details. All right? So once you get all that in, then I would go in and you're going to start to erase your grid. That's why we do it lightly, so that we can get rid of those grid lines and just have what's going to start to be the outline of his face. And we can start working on getting those features in a little bit more detail once we start to erase those lines. So that's what you're working on today. Get the grid done first, like I said. Make sure you're making your marks at the top and the bottom. Makes it a nice straight line. Same thing with the sides. You're going to grid off your picture, all right? And then we want to start getting our line details of not only our portrait, but any of those other images in there. So again, hold off on the shading part. Try to get your line details in, erase your grid, and then we will work a little bit more on this next week. All right? Thank you.